Hello and welcome back to this week's episode of the Girls Like Hoops podcast. I'm Tori. I hope you guys are having a great week. First of all, like and subscribe. Follow me on whatever you're listening to this on to stay up to date on new episodes because I have been a wee bit inconsistent over the past like 2 to 3 to 4 weeks. And that's my bad on that. That's my bad. I'm holding myself accountable. I've been beating myself up pretty bad about it. And I really am sorry. I don't want to be like, oh, I've bit off more than I can chew because I don't think that I have. I think this is just coming down to being just like a tough time management thing right now. And I'm trying to figure out my schedule because truthfully, I got my job and it's not like a 9 to 5 or anything. It's like I work from 3 to 7:30 and then I have an hour commute home. So by the time I get home it's like 8:30, or maybe if there was traffic or if I stop to get something to eat, it's 9 o'clock. And by the time I get home, sometimes most days, 3 or 4 days out of the week, I'm going live on TikTok with Justice. And it's so fun because, we're building a community over there. And like I've said at the beginning of this podcast, I think a lot of things are coming down to intention and what I want to be doing. And I would really love to be creating a space where we're having healthy conversations about basketball and it's for the enjoyment and the love of it more so than it is to be super critical or to spread hate and share hateful messaging and stuff. And it's going well. I'm so proud of this podcast. Some people have been messaging me on Instagram and stuff, and they've been like, oh, I really enjoy the podcast, keep it up, you're doing great. It's one of my favorite things to listen to. I love your analysis and stuff. And I get sappy on here often, but I really am so appreciative of you guys and everybody who watches and listens. Even if it was just 5 people watching and listening, I would be grateful. And I appreciate you guys sharing your comments and sharing your opinions and your analysis of things. And even if you disagree with me or agree with me, I really love hearing what you guys think. And I'm trying to build and cultivate that space and trying to do that in multiple ways. And I just haven't really been able to lock in on how to do that and do it well and do it in a way that I'm proud of everything. I don't want to just put up a podcast episode and I feel like the episode isn't that great. I didn't feel super proud of the last episode I put up, but I was I showed up for me that day and hopefully fingers crossed it goes well. And so it's just coming down to I want everything to be good, but I want the things that I give you guys to be good too. I don't just want to give you something I threw together. And there is a balance of how much do I say about a game on live? How much do I say about a basketball game on TikTok, but still have something new and fresh to offer on the podcast? So I'm trying to figure out what to say, how to say it, when to say it, and trying to figure that out in different areas and aspects of the content that I'm making. And then, on top of that, it's going to work. And like I said, sometimes I come home and 2 games have come on, and then by the time I get on live, we've talked about basketball for 3 or 4 hours, and I don't want to watch any more basketball. I love basketball a lot. I am just a girl though, and I can't do too much of anything. And I'd be tutoring them kids in math. I'm not even good at math. My head, my mind is not powerful enough right now, but I did want to apologize for that. I really am sorry, but I'm going to try my best to be better. And I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm just definitely going to have the schedule down pat, but I'm going to figure it out over the course of the next few weeks, and I'm going to be better. And I really do think that once the playoffs start, it's going to be better for me because it's going to be fewer games to have to talk about. So I think that's going to work out better for me. And then low on the lowest of keys, I'm not going to say that I'm bored watching some of these games, but it being so close to playoffs and people already, most teams, I think 6 or 7 teams have already clinched their playoff spot. So it's I'm just ready for the playoffs to start. We've been watching basketball the whole time. I'm ready to lock in and get it together and start that up. So, but yeah, I'm still obviously going to be here and talking about basketball these episodes. And then I'm gonna be talking about college basketball for that season and all the things. And I'm gonna figure out the college thing. I don't really know how I'm gonna do that yet. Also, I'm gonna be giving away Rookie of the Year awards. I don't know if I'm doing that here or if I'm gonna be doing that on TikTok, but I definitely do want the rookies this season to, receive acknowledgement because a lot of them have been playing really well and they've been working really hard and they deserve acknowledgement. So yeah. Anywho, is there anything else I need to say? Oh yeah, follow me on social media on TikTok and Twitter and stuff. And Twitter is where I usually update about if there's going to be an episode or if it's going to be late or whatever. So if you're interested in that, go and check out the Twitter account. It's Hoops Like Girls, and then it's just a picture of my face, so you can go check that out. And then I make content on TikTok and I go live on TikTok and all the things. It's so great. There's always so much content everywhere all the time for you guys. And if you guys want to keep building the space and having healthy conversations about basketball instead of harmful ones, go and check those things out. Anywho, let's get into the basketball. Oh yeah, I'm also supposed to be saying last week's poll question was, who do you think has the best chance of winning the championship? The two options were the Liberty and the Lynx. 2 people voted for the Liberty and 7 people voted for the Lynx, my Lynx. So just so you guys know, basically, when I get to tell y'all I told you so at the end of the season, lock in. I really do want to thank you guys so much for listening and watching and doing all the things, because I've been checking the geographic location of the people listening, and it really is, guys, we're going worldwide. I fear, okay, we're going worldwide. Obviously, people in the United States listen and watch, but people in Canada, Australia, Finland, the UK, we have people in Kenya, Portugal, Greece, Mexico, Honduras, Colombia, Luxembourg. I think that's how you pronounce that. If not, whoever that is listening over there, I'm sorry. I goofed. I'm going to come back better. I'm going to come back better, though. Anyways, we have people in Hungary listening, in Sweden, Nigeria, Puerto Rico, Costa Rica, Italy, Denmark, Germany, Switzerland, Thailand. I really am grateful. Thank you guys so much for listening, watching. So if you're listening and watching right now, feel free to follow, subscribe, do whatever you need to do. Share it with your mama, share it with your friends, get some new people locked in on women's basketball via me. But I really do want to thank you guys so much for listening and watching and everything. It really does mean a lot to me. And I heart you. I don't know if I've mentioned already, but you guys are getting 2 episodes this weekend, one today and then one within the next 2 to 3 days. But I'm also trying to figure out the balance between having, a life outside of basketball. So I'm definitely going to go hang out with my friends this weekend. So I don't want to say the episode's going to be up on Sunday night because it might not be. It might be Monday or Tuesday night at the latest, but I am going to catch up and be together. So I'm, again, so sorry. Anyways, this episode is covering WNBA games from August 23rd to the 28th. So let's lock in and get into the basketball. First things first, Unrivaled. We had 2 players announced for the week of the 23rd, Natasha Cloud and Skylar Diggins, and I'm super excited. Again, I say this every time, but I'm just really excited to watch these players play, and the 3-on-3 is going to be really great. I'm excited to see what that looks like, and maybe if we're going to, have some people interested in joining the 3x3 team for the next Olympics. So it's going to be really exciting. And like I said, it's a really great opportunity for the players to be making money in the States and not have to leave and go play overseas. And it's also just a great opportunity to, kind of learn from each other and compete against the best of the best in the league. So super exciting. And I think we only have maybe there might be 10 more announcements left. There's only going to be 30 players playing, but again, super excited to see what's going to happen there. Now let's get into the WNBA games. All right, so the first game of the week we had August 23rd, that Friday. There were 4 games. The first was Mercury versus Dream, and the Mercury beat the Dream. This was a back-to-back, not a back-to-back game, but they played them and then they had to play them again. And I felt like the Mercury made a good adjustment. I feel like the first time they played them, they really just needed to play more through Brittany, and they did that this game. So really great adjustment, Nate. I'll let you have this one. I think the thing for me is that I really drank the Kool-Aid a little bit. After the break, I had gone to that Storm versus Dream game, and I was honestly really surprised to see the Storm lose that game. But the Dream had been playing really, really well. They were healthy, and I was like, honestly, they might come back from this and really like clinch that 8th playoff spot. And maybe they still can. The thing is, though, even if they get into the playoffs, like that's great that they got into the playoffs. They're not doing anything this season. I hope that they kind of stick with what they have though, and really attempt to do something next season. But this season's basically cooked, so I don't even really know if we really need to be trying too hard. It's really just been coming down to like shots not falling, and again, like the team has not been healthy until very recently, and even then Ariel Powers still isn't playing. Cheyenne Parker Tyus is hurt. So it's just, I think I'm not gonna say it's a lost cause. They have a lot of talent on the team. It's just not all like fitting and working together at the same time right now, and that's okay. I would really like to see them next season, and hopefully they come back stronger and better. But whether or not they make the playoffs, it makes no difference to me, because they're not beating anybody, and they're not. I would hate to see. They're not. No. Immediately, no. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to the Atlanta Dream. And honestly, I'm still better than give me that job, but it's okay. It's okay. I did drink the Kool-Aid on believing that, oh, they're going to AC. Like, it's not even a question they're coming back. They look a lot better than they did, but there are still issues here, unfortunately. And that's okay. It's just coming down to shots not falling, like I said. It's not really like they don't look lost and confused anymore. It's like a secret third thing. So wishing them the best at this time. The Atlanta Dream coach did say something at halftime that I thought was very interesting during the game. She said, "It's important to not allow the officiating to dictate our temperament." And I thought that was super important, honestly, because I think the Dream were in early foul trouble during this game. And the officiating this season has been pretty atrocious all around. But I can definitely understand why so many players are upset, because it's just inconsistent. Like, it would be one thing if it was like, oh, everything is being called relatively similarly. Like, it's a problem of, and you see this throughout this week's games and throughout many, like all of the games, like the reviewing is taking far too long. So it's like long stoppages of play. And then on top of that, like the calls, just they're not consistent. Like, one day we're calling every single moving screen, and the next 3 games we're not calling them at all, and then on the 4th game we're calling the screens here and there. We're not even doing all of them, and it's just like sometimes we're calling the contact, sometimes we're not. Like, I don't understand. Sometimes we're calling tap, we're calling, like, I don't get it. I don't know what we're doing here. I think the league definitely needs to work on that, like pre-playoffs. Like, and then there are some games where the official just let them play. And it's just like there has to be consistency at some point. I understand that not every call is not always going to be the right call. And sometimes it just doesn't really work out. But it just kind of feels inexcusable at this point, because we're so deep into the season and everything is just extremely inconsistent. It's like one day I'm getting the calls, the next day I'm not, and it's completely valid to be upset. At the same time, though, I think the Liberty and the Lynx, and yeah, I think the Liberty and the Lynx have done a really great job of like just staying poised throughout the entirety of the season, like whether they're getting the calls or not, just like not allowing that to affect how they're playing the game. And I think that is going to be like one of the things that, puts them, honestly, I think it's going to be Liberty versus Lynx. If that's a possibility of being the matchup at the end, those are the two teams to me that are the ones to beat. And honestly, the Liberty have been looking pretty human lately, but we're going to get to that later. back to the Mercury versus Dream game. Like I said, the Mercury made a good adjustment playing through BG and shooting less threes. I find it really crazy that they're moving away from the three because that was something that easily could have been done earlier on in the season, but I digress. But I told y'all so. I told y'all so. Anyways, they only shot 17 threes. Thank God. You know, back in the day it would have been like upper 20s, mid 30s. So luckily they stopped doing that. But Brittany Griner had a really great game. She had 22 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 blocks, and shot 10 of 13 from the field. Diana Taurasi also had a pretty decent game, 18 points, 5 assists, and shot 6 of 8 from the field. Kalia Copper had 16 points, 5 rebounds. She had a rough shooting night a bit. She shot 6 of 20, but still put up 16 points, so can't be mad at it. And I wanted to give an honorable mention to Sophie Cunningham for her 8 rebounds and 2 steals. Natasha Cloud had 7 assists and 5 rebounds. And my good sister Celeste Taylor, a.k.a. a rookie who deserves recognition, had 9 points on 4 of 5 shooting from the field. It doesn't get too much better than that. I don't think you can ask for too much more, I think, they gave it their all. It was a close game, but they did what they needed to do. They put the Dream away, as they should. All right, for the Dream, I feel like this was just a tough matchup in the paint for Tina. There's not too many true centers left in the league, so when her and Brittany Griner play against each other, it feels like that's a really decent matchup. Honestly, I felt like the Dream could have won this game. Their defense was really great in the second half of the game. I think it just really came down to some of their shots not falling. There was a couple of possessions where they just couldn't really get anything going. One thing that did confuse me though, I think in the fourth quarter, it came down to one of the final 2 possessions, and on offense, Jordan Canada was not in the game. And I was confused by that because I understand you want shooters on the floor, but this team has looked really rough without having Jordan Canada available to play. So not having her in one of those final possessions on offense was confusing to me. And then when there was a timeout, putting her back in for defense, it was just it was weird to me. And then so that was already something that didn't make sense to me, but also then to the execution of the play, of the inbound play after the timeout, was fairly poor. And I don't know. I don't know what play was drawn up, but I felt like having Jordan Canada on the floor to facilitate and help would have been a really great decision, but that's neither here nor there, I guess. Anyways, like I said, it was just kind of an inefficient shooting night for a lot of players on the Dream, unfortunately, and I think that kind of is what led to them not winning this game. Which, I mean, you can still win and not shoot efficiently, but I don't know. I still, the Dream are a lot to me. Again, I drank the Kool-Aid on that. I think they're going to the playoffs, all this stuff. Again, they can still go. It's just, they won't be making any noise, I fear. Anyways, love them down, though. That's still the home team. Anyways. Alicia Gray had 22 points, 7 rebounds, 2 steals, and 1 block. Ryan Howard had 16 points and 4 rebounds. Tina Charles had 14 points, 13 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 blocks. And Jordan Canada had 13 points and 6 assists. Not a terrible game. It's just I think that you do need a little bit more from somebody else sometimes. It's always those 4, but it is hey, can we get, I don't know, 9 or 10 points with somebody else? And again, they have some people who are hurt. Ariel Powers, I think, would really elevate this team off the bench, but unfortunately she hasn't been playing over the past couple of weeks. But maybe if they make that playoff spot, maybe getting her in there and getting her in the mix, maybe they might be able to do something. I don't know. Anyways, next game we have is Sky versus Sun, and the Sun won 82-80, which it's kind of crazy that both of those games were 82-80. Anyways, to me, this game was very annoying because, again, the officiating and the reviewing, it's just taking too long. I think this game was an hour, and I want to say it was an hour and 50 minutes. And usually the games are an hour 27. And it's just like, and I thought it went into overtime or something, but no, that's not what it was. It was like the constant reviewing of plays. Like, we have to figure that out. We've got to figure out either a way to cut down on that, or we need to stop reviewing so many plays all the time, because they're not because some of those weren't even coaches' challenges. Like, it was just, oh, we got to review the play, got to review the play, got to review the play, and it takes like it takes like 2 to 3 minutes, 2 to 4 minutes to review stuff. It's taking far too long in the stoppage of play time. It's messing with the teams and the runs and all that stuff. And I don't know if they're doing that on purpose, but I don't like it. Anyways, for the Sun, there was no Marina Mabrey in the starting lineup, which I thought was a decent choice, honestly. I did like, Stephanie White kind of testing some different lineups and stuff, but I think she's going with Marina off the bench. They shot 36 free throws. And again, I'm going to say that's a lot of free throws. Honestly, too many. And again, that it makes the game so long. Like, I just, I don't know. I don't love that about this team. And I'm not going to say that the Sun are boring, but like low key sort of kind of, cuz I'm not trying to watch that. I don't want to watch you shoot 36 free throws. That's not fun to me. I'm sorry. They be winning games, but it's like, at what cost? Anyways, Marina Mabrey had 24 points, 3 rebounds, shot 9 of 13 from the field and 5 of 7 from 3. The Sky are looking goofy as hell right now. I'm not going to lie. It was a really great game because it was the first time, I think. Yeah, I think it was the first time. Yeah, I think it was the first time that Marina was playing against her old team. And, Kennedy Carter really came to play that game. And Kennedy Carter's so clutch. Oh my gosh. We'll talk about that in a minute. But Marina had a really great game against them. DeWanna Bonner had a tough shooting night. She was 3 of 16 from the field. And I think, like, when it comes to, like, nights like this, because DeWanna was definitely, like, more so the shooter for this team, the Marina trade was very, very useful, like, and was a really great decision. I think the front office did a really great job picking her up, and now DeWanna Bonner, like, she doesn't have so much pressure on her to, like, constantly be putting up shots and stuff like that. So I think Marina's been a really great addition to the team. Alyssa Thomas had 12 points, 11 assists, 9 rebounds, 4 steals, and 1 block, and she was 5 of 7 from the field. And Brianna Jones, again, an anchor for this team, gave you 12 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 blocks. Good game from all of them. Congrats. For the Sky, I just want to say this. Kennedy Carter has been playing really great this season, and I hope she has a home with this team because she's been playing really great, really well for them. Her court vision is something that they definitely need, and you can definitely feel when her presence is missed when she's not on the court. Like I said, her court vision, it's insane. She passes in the post and she does what she needs to do. She understands the balance of playing through Camilla and Angel, and at the same time, she knows when to shoot. And to me, this team just runs really, really well when Kennedy Carter's on the floor. And hopefully, they keep Kennedy and Camilla and Angel. And I think that's going to be like a really great, like, trio for this team moving forward. Like, again, this is a very young team. But you can see bright spots in it, and you can kind of see the team coming together. The Sky shot 9 threes in total. Again, this team isn't like a shooting team, but that is definitely something to be looking for. Like, a move definitely needs to be made in the off season to, get a shooter, or like a couple more shooters that can just come in off the bench, because only shooting 9 threes is crazy. You can still win a game only shooting 9 threes, I think, but not long term, I fear. I think they were more efficient shooting from the field this game. They shot 44%. Oh, yeah. This team only shot 9 threes this game. They were definitely the more efficient shooting team. They shot 44% from the field to the Suns 36%. But again, like, the Sun are shooting like 36 free throws. So it really doesn't matter how efficient you are if they're getting like free points at the line. I think the Sky definitely do need to work on their fouling. But again, this is a young team. So I try not to be too like critical of them because they are still figuring things out and learning how to play with each other and learning when to do things, how to do them, what to do, all of that stuff. But then only shooting 9 threes though. That's we're gonna have to work on that. Big moves need to be made in the offseason to at least get like some shooters off the bench because that really is just a thing that the Sky is missing. And honestly, like I think as long as they keep Kennedy, she knows how to pass and play through the post, and she knows what to do and when to do it when it comes to having the ball and when to be aggressive offensively. And I think watching this team kind of grow and figuring out what they need to do and when to do it and figuring out how to win together is going to be really great for them in the future. But Kennedy Carter had 19 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists. Camila Cardozo had 18 points, 6 rebounds, and shot 8 of 11 from the field. Since the break, she's made like some really big strides offensively, and she plays great defense. She's still figuring out and working on like, staying vertical and footwork and stuff like that. That's really important for defense. So I think by next season, after the off season, and she goes and plays, I think she's going to play in Brazil. But once she goes and does that, I think she's going to come back like a very different player, and I'm excited to see what that looks like. Honestly, she's had a really great showing for her rookie season though. For Angel, she had 13 points, 20 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 blocks. And y'all already know what I'm going to say. Rebounding so important. Like, people, they have a lot of things to say about Angel and all this stuff, but at the end of the day, a lot of teams get beat on the boards, and they get beat often on the boards. And she's making sure that this team, like, if they lose or when they lose, it's not because they got beat on the boards and because they didn't have second chance shots or anything like that. She's making sure that she's getting those boards, and I will never be mad at her for doing that. Lindsay Allen had a pretty decent showing this game, honestly. She had 14 points, 6 assists, and shot 5 of 9 from the field. Congrats to Lindsay Allen. People have been saying things about her, but she's turned it up, I think, and she's been playing really, really well. Next up, we have Sparks versus Mystics, and the Mystics won 80-74. Rough loss for the Sparks, honestly. Rakia had a really great game. She had 17 points and 3 rebounds. She was 6 of 11 from the field. Honestly, like, again, I've been saying this all season. Rakia Jackson deserves her respect. Like, deserves it bad. Like, she has been playing so well this season, and you've really just seen her really come into her own, especially in the second half of the season. She's been getting more recognition, like the recognition that she has deserved all season. In the past couple of weeks. So y'all keep your eyes out on Rakia Jackson because she's going to be a problem in the future. Like, honestly, people need to be afraid. And if the Sparks end up getting Paige Beckers on that team, y'all need to be cowering in corners because I don't want to see Rakia Jackson, De'Erica Hamby, Paige Beckers, Ari McDonald, and who knows who else on the floor. I would be afraid of that. Okay, y'all need to be afraid of the Sparks, okay? Y'all need to be afraid because when Cameron Brink's out there, you need to be afraid, okay? Be afraid, cower. They taking these L's right now, but y'all better be ready y'all about to be losing to them. Watch. Give them a year or two. It's about to be a wrap. League's on notice. Anyways, Rakia Jackson, like I said, had a really great game. De'Erica, I think, has said that she can tell that people are kind of figuring out how to guard her. And you can kind of tell with like the stats lately, but I think, she's still giving her all on defense, and she's going out there and, they're all playing, and I think they're really starting to find their rhythm together. They've had a lot of injuries this season, but they still go out there every night and play hard, and I think this is going to make them a lot stronger for next season, and I'm excited to see what happens with the Sparks. There were some teams where it was just like they had a lot of injuries this season, and you can even say this about Dallas as well, and the Mystics. Like, they're not terrible teams. Like, they go out there and they've beaten some really great teams. They beat the Liberty at some point. I think they played them later on this week that I'm talking about in this episode. But, they gave them a run for their money. They give every team a run for their money. They don't just like go out there and, just take L's lying down. Like they go out there and they give it their best. But De'Erica, she had 9 points, 10 rebounds, and 2 steals. Azare Stevens had 9 points and 9 rebounds and 3 assists. Odyssey Sims had 9 points and 5 rebounds. Stephanie Talbot had 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals. And Ray Burrell had 8 points and 4 rebounds. I really like Ray Burrell as well. And people need to respect that lady. She be hitting her shot. She comes up there, plays defense. She does a really great job. I'm really excited to see what this team looks like, as they get more experience and they get, more minutes under their belt. And again, the league is on notice. Put it down in your books that I said that here, okay? Lock that in. Lock that in. For the Mystics, Brittany Sykes had 28 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists. This Mystics team looks very different. Having a point guard, that's, helping them facilitate. A lot of these teams, you can tell, just need that steady point guard to come in and just do what they do, pass the ball and do all those things. And she's done a really great job of that since she's been back, and I'm happy she's healthy. The Misses have definitely gone through a lot of injuries this season, but again, another team that I'm kind of excited to see next season, who they draft and how they work all that out. I think this is another young team, and they have a young coach, and they're just figuring things out, and I'm excited to see where they end up next season. For Ariel Atkins, she hasn't really been doing crazy numbers like she was before the break, but she had a very good game this game. She had 15 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 steals. And Shakira Austin had 14 points, 11 rebounds, and 3 steals. Congrats to the Mystics for this win. Tough loss for the Sparks, but everything's going to be great. Just give it time. Give it time. Next matchup we had was Aces versus Lynx. The Lynx won 87-74. And this was the game, I think they had played them maybe a day or two before, and then they had to play them again. And the Lynx, y'all know my Lynx, I've been riding with them all season. They have just been playing really well, giving the Aces and really any team that they play a run for their money. For the Aces, they just got beat on the boards. 37-17 is kind of crazy. I'm not going to deny. I think the Lynx are just a really great team when it comes to defending Asia. Asia's still going to go out there and do what she does. She gave you 24 points and 7 rebounds. But the Lynx, they really just throw everybody at Asia and then force the rest of the team to kind of show up. And you kind of just saw that here. And when it comes down to it, sometimes the other players on the team, I'm hoping they're going to lock in for the playoffs. I'm never going to count the Aces out. I'm not going to lie. I'm never going to count them out. It's looking a little questionable right now, but I think when it comes to that third ring, though, they might have it, guys. They might have it. Tiffany Hayes, 6th Man of the Year. Okay, 6th Woman of the Year. She gave you 12 points and shot 5 of 7 from the field. Jackie Young gave you 12 points, 3 assists, and 3 steals. Always playing great defense, Jackie. And Kelsey Plum had 11 points, 3 assists, and 2 steals. This matchup was better than the one that they had played previously. I think they had made some decent adjustments. They just played better defense to me this game. And at first, I think there was one time during the game where it was a little close, and I was like, dang, are the Lynx going to win this game? But I still stuck beside them. I didn't really know who I was rooting for because I was I just really want both teams to win. But as the game had gone on, I realized I was rooting for the Lynx. So I love y'all Aces, but damn. Anyways, they played, really hard and they made those adjustments, but, it just wasn't enough to stop the Lynx. On any given night, the Lynx are just going to have an answer for whatever you throw at them. So you just have to be better than them at everything. For the Lynx, to me, I think they just got out very well in transition. And once they were going in transition, there was nothing that the Aces could do to stop them. The matchup was, like I said before, a bit tighter than the one previously. But honestly, I thought the Aces were going to have, some more adjustments than they had. I still thought that like the Aces, like they played really hard, and you could tell that, you know, they looked a lot better than the first matchup. Or not the first matchup, but they looked a lot better than the matchup before this one. And then it just, poor things. Anyways, Nafisa Collier gave you 27 points, 18 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 steals, and she shot 11 of 15 from the field. Okay, respect her. Put respect on her name. Alana Smith had 15 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals, and 2 blocks. I think that is just a really great like post duo to me. Like, I love Nafisa Collier. Like, she's definitely the most important player for this team, but at the same time, you know, I love the way that the other players show up next to her. You know, they know what to do and when to do it, and they just look really great. So Alana Smith had those 15 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks, and she shot 6 of 9 from the field. Courtney Williams has really got her mid-range game going. You know, she's facilitating well, she's getting rebounds. She gave you 13 points, 7 rebounds, and 4 assists. Natisha Heidemann and Kayla McBride combined for 24 points. You know, somebody on TikTok this game, I had made a video about the game and how it went and the adjustments that were made and everything. And somebody had commented, hey, what's going on with Bridget? Because she only had 2 points. And I was like, you know what? She's saving it for tomorrow against the Fever, because they had the Aces, and I think a day or two went by and they played the Aces again, and then the next day Maya Moore's jersey retirement was happening, and so they were going to be playing the Fever. And there were a lot of people on my TikTok who were like, oh my gosh, like the Fever are probably going to win that game because they're going to be tired. Like the Lynx have played the Aces twice and they're going to be tired after the back-to-back. And I just want you to know, I know how my Lynx are going to show up, okay? And on Saturday, the Lynx did just what I said they were going to do. You know, there were naysayers. There were, oh, the Fever looks so different now. They're a different team after the break. And they are a different team after the break. I'm not going to sit here and deny them of that. I'm also not going to sit here and deny that, yeah, this was a back-to-back game. But honestly, you would have to be crazy to think that the Lynx were taking an L in Maya Moore's house on Maya Moore's jersey retirement night. They weren't going to disrespect that lady like that. She's a GOAT. She's an icon. She's a legend of the game. The Lynx came to play that game, and play they did. My team is ready for the big time. There's nothing more that needs to be said here. They had the most second chance points. Nafisa Collier went out there and honestly put up a legendary stat line for a legendary woman. 31 points, 5 rebounds, 1 steal, 1 block, shot 12 of 18 from the field. It doesn't get much better than this. Honestly, at this point, y'all need to watch your backs because the Lynx are coming for a championship, okay? Bridget Carlton, like I had said before, she was saving it up for this game. She knew that they were going to need to rely on somebody, so she was saving her energy for this game right here. She gave you 16 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, and shot 4 of 6 from 3. Yeah, they did do that. They ate that up. Kayla McBride gave you 19 points, 3 rebounds, and 4 assists. Courtney Williams gave you 10 points, 6 assists, 4 rebounds. Natisha Heidemann gave you 10 points, 3 rebounds. Clap it up for them. Yeah, clap it up at home. For the people in their cars, for the people at the house, clap it up for them. Because my Lynx, one thing about me, I never waver. And I didn't waver that night. I was at a bridal shower watching this game, okay? I was that locked in. For the Fever, they beat the Lynx on the board 40-27. They also beat them in points in the paint, 44-30, but they also had 16 turnovers. Yeah, I think the 16 turnovers held them back a bit. But you know what? They still went out there and they gave it their best. Caitlin put up 23 points, 8 assists, 5 rebounds, and 1 steal. She shot 8 of 18 from the field. Not her most efficient night, but I think that will come with time. You know, she's still she's still learning and growing and making the right decisions, passing and all the things. So I have no doubt in my mind she'll be fine. Kelsey Mitchell gave you 21 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 steals, and shot 8 of 17 from the field, but was 2 of 10 from 3. Lexi Hall gave you 10 points. Aaliyah Boston gave you 10 points and 15 rebounds and shot 5 of 11 from the field. The other game that night was Sun versus Liberty. The Sun beat the Liberty 72-64. Again, the Liberty, to me, they're looking a bit human. I don't know what's really going on there, but I told y'all, I don't say I didn't say. Sometimes the wheels start falling off. The wheels start falling off. They're looking a bit rusty. They're looking a little unwell. Okay? Watch your backs, Liberty. I'm on your neck always. Anyways, the Sun, they had 5 people in double figures. Okay? The difference to me in this game was just the Sun having more options off the bench that contributed. Typically, the Liberty bench contributes well, but the team just kind of struggled all around, in my opinion. Marina Mabry was the highest scorer. She had 15 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists. Dejanay Carrington gave you 13 points, 3 rebounds, 2 steals, and 1 block. Olivia Nelson-Adota deserves her flowers. Okay, she put up 12 points, 4 rebounds, and had 2 blocks in 15 minutes. She shot 5 of 8 from the field and 2 of 3 from the free throw line. DeWanna Bonner had 10 points, 12 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, and shot 5 of 11. She's coming up big on the boards and is playing really great defense. And I think the Liberty, no shade, like I said, they shot 7 of 32 from 3. That's so not in their character. The Sun defense is good. Like, I'm not going to sit here and deny that. But, like, the Liberty, I don't know what happened there. Like, this is a really good shooting team, honestly. And for them to go 7 of 32 from 3 is just, that is so out of character for them. But, again, I think, I don't know. I just don't think that I'm buying into the Liberty winning a championship. I just don't believe it. Somebody change my mind. I just don't believe it. I don't know. Maybe they'll lock in for the playoffs, but I don't know. Nobody shot well. And again, you have to credit the Sun defense. The Liberty, again, like, nobody shot well. You do have to credit the Sun defense. The Liberty just looked very human to me this week, and then honestly, like, this past week as well. Some teams that I would never expect have been beating them, and I don't know if maybe they're just tired, maybe they're just not that locked in. They already have their playoff spot clinched. I don't know, but it's looking a little rough right now. The highest scoring quarter they had was the first, and after that they never outscored the Sun for the rest of the game. Sabrina had like a rough shooting night. Again, everybody had a rough shooting night. Like, honestly, Sabrina had a rough shooting night this game against the Sun. She shot 3 of 13 from the field and 2 of 12 from 3. And honestly, you might think I would have something bad to say about that, but really I don't. Because like I said, this is very out of character for her, so I went back and watched all the shots that she took. And honestly, almost all of them were like good looks and very makeable shots for her. They just weren't falling that night. And again, you do have to credit the Sun defense, but she got some good looks. The ball just said no, unfortunately. So again, I'm interested to see like what this team is going to look like during the playoffs. Like, I know they're coming to play and they really want a championship, but it is going to come down to how good like other teams' defenses are. And I think there are at least 2 or 3 teams where I'm like, that defense, like their defense is really great. So I'm interested to see what it looks like. And maybe, they're just, resting up a bit for the playoffs, but I don't know. Brianna Stewart had 15 points, 14 rebounds, 2 steals, 3 blocks. And Leona Phoebish was 5 of 7 from the field and had 14 points and 5 rebounds. Jonquel gave you 10 points and 8 rebounds. Can't ask for too much more. I think the Sun defense, again, just kind of cooked the Liberty, unfortunately. Anyways, on Sunday, we had 2 games. The first was Aces versus Sky. This was a really great matchup. It was the talk of the town when this game came on. It was a really fun matchup, honestly. I didn't watch this one live, but I remember everybody was going crazy for the last 2 possessions of this game with Kennedy Carter's 3 and then Asia Wilson, doing MVP things and sealing the deal for the win. So it was a really fun game, honestly, to rewatch. For the Sky, Michaela Onyenwere was cooking in the first half from three, which is not something that I thought I would ever be saying about anybody from the Sky, but hey, congrats to them. I'm glad they have some shooters. I was very happy with how aggressive they came out playing in the first quarter. Kennedy Carter, a key takeaway from the game, it's just she's clutch. There's nothing more that needs to be said there. Kennedy Carter's just a clutch player. I thought they put together some really great possessions throughout the entirety of the game. Good ball movement, not just, taking random shots and stuff, but everything felt thoughtful. And I really enjoyed that about the game. Camilla had a really great game against Asia. Kennedy gave you 25 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists. Lindsay Allen gave you 16 points, 5 assists, and shot 7 of 12 from the field. She had a really great game as well. Michaela had 15 points, was 3 of 5 from 3. And the thing is that when you watch the Sky play against other teams in the league, and especially like teams that are playoff contenders like the Liberty, or the Aces, the Lynx, whatever, I think what's really great about these games in particular is that people are very critical of this team for their shooting and for coaching and for a bunch of other stuff, blah, 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 blah. But I think something that you can take away from these games is that there are bright spots here for the Sky. Like, I think a lot of Sky fans, and they even talk about this, like, there are, like, this team is decent. Like, the team is not terrible. I think a lot of it is just going to come down to searching for consistent production from the people on the team. And I know that they're going to make their moves, like, in the off season and stuff and all of that. But even when you just watch them play against these other teams, like, there are bright spots here. Like, there are good things about the team. I think it all just is going to come down to people buying into their roles and being able to find that consistent production from people who are starters, but also from people off the bench. It's going to take understanding and respecting that you have two really great post players that need to be fed the ball, and knowing when to defer to them and all that stuff. And I think it's also gonna come down to getting shots up. And yes, it is also going to be about getting reliable shooters in the future, and hopefully in the off season, and maybe like in the draft, and finding a way to make that work. So I'm excited to see what this team does again. Like, I think the Sky, honestly, like, this is a very decent team. Like, on any given night, like, they go out there and they play really hard, and sometimes, they don't look as great as they could, but they're out there and they're trying, and I think they're working on building something really great there. So shout out to the Sky. Anyways, Angel had 11 points and 22 rebounds this game. I told y'all, I care about those rebounds. I really do. I think, like I said, people make a really big deal about the rebounding and all that stuff, but so many teams get beat in the paint and they get beat on the boards, and her and Camilla are making sure that that is not something that happens to the Sky. Like, if anything, you're never going to be able to say they got beat on the boards, because it's never that. They really just have to focus and work on their offense and all of that other stuff. But to me, I think that Angel's role on this team, Camilla's role on this team, very important. And for them to be getting all of these rebounds and to be playing at the level that they're playing together, like, the league is on notice. Like, the league is on notice. I said that about everybody, but the league is on notice. They are. Y'all should be, at least. Y'all need to be afraid. Then we had Camilla, who had 11 points, 12 rebounds, and 5 blocks. Yes, you heard that right. 5 blocks. Yeah, she came to play that day. She did. She came to play. For this game in particular, I think it just came down to, like, I won't say not having enough in the tank, but after the game, I think Teaspoon kind of talked about trying to get the bench more involved in the future so that the starters can, like, have time to rest, but also, like, when they get put in the game, they can really, like, deliver. And, this did come down to shooting and running a certain type of offense and blah blah blah. But I think again, like this is a rebuild team and they have really good bones, and I'm excited to see what they do. For the Aces, I some key takeaways for me. I like the shifting starting lineup. Like I like Becky kind of, trying some different looks and switching up the lineup based on matchup more so than just, the usual core starting lineup. I thought, KP screen at the end of the game on that final possession. Was it a moving screen? Absolutely. But you know what? If they're not going to call it, it is what it is. And truthfully, that last possession, Asia doing MVP things, and she's the MVP for a reason. Asia had 20 points, 18 rebounds, 2 steals, and 3 blocks. KP had 18 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists. I felt like she had a good game. Megan Gustafson came up big this game. She had 13 points, shot 5 of 8 from the field, and 3 of 5 from 3. I thought she stressed the floor very well, and I think that's what the Aces need. Chelsea Gray had 11 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, and 2 steals. I really love that Chelsea's kind of getting back to her, usual play style. I feel like she's, settling in, and I think she's getting ready for the playoffs and starting to look like her regular self. Alicia Clark had 7 points, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. Again, great defense as always from Alicia. Tiffany Hayes came off the bench, giving you 6 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 assists. And for Jackie, she played like a lot this game. I think she played like 32 minutes or something like that. Pretty decent game from everyone. For Jackie, she had a quiet night offensively, but one thing you can always count on is her defense and for her to come out there and, guard some of the toughest players. So, hopefully Jackie will be back to her usual form soon. And even if she's not, hopefully other people on the team can kind of come in and contribute offensively. But yeah, the team looked a lot better this game. And I think each game they're looking a little bit better and they're working on different things. And, their defense is starting to come together. So I think hopefully by the time the playoffs come along, everybody's doing what they need to do and, they come back ready to cook. All right, next game we had was Sparks versus Wings, and Dallas ended up winning this game 113 to 110. This was a tough loss for the Sparks. Again, the Sparks, oh god, they get so close to winning and then they're just not able to finish the job, I fear. There were a lot of people on Twitter the day that this game came on saying no defense was played this game, and that's why they got to 113 points. And truthfully, I'm not going to sit here and deny that. I'm not. And even if this is true, who cares? Because the game was really great. It was honestly a really fun watch for me. I just really love Dallas not going out without a fight. These are two teams that are in like the lower bottom of the standings, but they still go out there and play hard every game. And it was just a very even matchup for the both of them, and I had a really great time watching the game. The Wings were down 22 points at one point, and then they ended up putting up a 40-point fourth quarter. I don't know how people are letting that happen, but it ended up happening one other time, I think, this week. They put up 40 in the fourth quarter or something, but last week I said that I don't want Satu to leave because I feel like they have like good bones for like this team to be great at some point. I'd love to see what they look like with the pieces that they have. But I do hope Satu stays because when I see games like this and I see that they're healthy and they're able to put together like these really great offensive stretches, I really want to see what this team would look like being able to like be fully healthy, because like this team, like when they're really like playing hard, like the fact they can come back from a 22, and they've come back from some deficits this year, and it's been really fun to watch. Like they have so much grit and so much pride, and even though like their record isn't the best, like they come out there and they play hard every single night. Like they never just like take an L lying down. Like they go out there and they take everything possession by possession. And I think that comes down to just having a really great culture, but also having a coach that, wants you and expects you to play the right way all the time. Like no matter how many minutes are left on the clock. So shout out to Latricia Trammell, honestly. Anyways, they ended up having 56 points in the paint and 19 second chance points. Arike had played all 40 minutes, and gave you 33 points, 7 assists, 4 rebounds, and 2 steals, and she shot 10 of 21 from the field. You can't make this stuff up. It's like a storybook ending. She was locked in. Natasha Howard had 30 points, 7 rebounds, and was 11 of 15 from the field. Again, I'm telling you, you can't make this stuff up. Satu had 19 points and 5 rebounds. This was not her most efficient game. She was 7 of 20 from the field. But you know what, though? You know what? She put up those double figures. She put up those double figures and she contributed. One thing you can't say she didn't go out there and try. That's one thing you can't say. She didn't go out there and try. Tierra McCowan gave you 17 points and 11 rebounds, okay, per double-double. And an honorable mention to one of my rookies of the year, JC Sheldon, with her 8 assists and 1 block. Clap it up for JC. JC be out here working hard almost, and then worked her way into that starting line. She be playing 20 plus minutes, okay? For the Sparks, they're finding their rhythm, like I've said before, despite their injuries. This was a really tough loss for them. They were the more efficient shooting team, shooting 60% from the field to Dallas's 50% from 3. Odyssey Sims really had a really great game. Rakia had a great game. De'Erica had a great game. It just wasn't enough, and you really hate to see that. Odyssey Sims gave you 26 points, 10 assists, 3 rebounds, and was 8 of 11 from the field. Rakia Jackson gave you 25 points. My God. Respect that lady. She gave you 25 points, 4 assists, 2 steals, 3 blocks, was 9 of 15 from the field, 6 of 8 from 3. Honestly, Rakia deserved that win. I'm not even going to hold you, but I know she's going to use these losses to power her up for the next season. De'Erica Hamby had 21 points, 5 assists, and was 9 of 12 from the field. And Azare Stevens had 15 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks, and 1 steal. Again, y'all need to be afraid of this lineup right here next season. So then on Monday, we had 2 games. The first was Dream versus Fever. I only saw the end of the game, but the Fever won 84-79. This was a really close game towards the end of it. The Fever beat them in the paint and in second chance points and in transition. Just a fast-paced team, good ball movement, making the right decisions, making the right passes. The Fever are going to be very interesting to watch in the playoffs this season. For the Fever, Kelsey Mitchell gave you 29 points, 7 rebounds, shot 10 of 23 from the field. And Caitlin had 19 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals, and 1 block. Aaliyah Boston had 14 points and 11 rebounds and 4 assists. And I don't know how to pronounce her first name, but Dantes had 11 points. So this was a really great little team win from them. Everybody put up some good offense, and they were able to close it out and finish the deal in crunch time. For the Dream, Tina Charles had 28 points and 8 rebounds and was 13 of 21 from the field. Ryan Howard had 16 points, 7 rebounds. Alicia Gray had 12 points. Jordan Canada had 10 points and 6 assists. And I wanted to give an honorable mention to Nia Coffey and Maya Caldwell. They combined for 15 rebounds and 5 assists. Clap it up for them. Clap it up for them. Showing up on the boards, okay? Next matchup we had was Mystics versus Storm. I didn't watch this game. I'm going to be honest with you. Or actually, I did watch this game. Yeah, I watched this game. The Mystics won 74-72. Now listen. I'm going to have more to say about the Storm in the next episode in a couple of days. But this was just... the offense struggled for the Storm. And I'm going to be honest with you, I like the Storm. You guys know I've had many great things to say about the Storm all season. I like the coach. I like the players there. I like the culture. The fan base is really great. However, we have to be honest with ourselves. This team will not be going far in the playoffs. They won't be. Their defense is really great, but it's been a bit inconsistent from some players on the team. And honestly, I understand, they just got Gabby Williams in there. And like I said, their defense is really great. The problem is the offense. It just, getting stops is great and getting stops is important. But if you can't go and hit those shots on the other end, it really just does not matter at all. The Mystics cooked them in fast break points, 17-8. Brittany Sykes had 20 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 1 block. Emily Inksler, I think that's how you pronounce her name, 12 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals. Shatori Walker-Kimbrough had 11 points, 2 blocks. Julie Van Lowe gave you 11 points, 4 assists. Ariel Atkins was very quiet this game, but it's okay because some other people showed up to play. For the Storm, I think the offense just really struggled at the start of the game. They forced 19 turnovers from the Mystics, which is really great. But again, their problem is not defense. It has never been defense. It's been just having like enough energy, having a spark off the bench. It's been bench utilization, and now we're later on in the season, and now the bench is getting used now, but it's just like, is it too little too late? I don't know. Girl. I don't know. Jewel gave you 16 points, 6 rebounds, and 2 steals on 5 of 18 shooting. Sammy Whitcomb gave you 11 points and 3 steals. Decent off the bench, honestly. Sammy comes in there and gives good energy. Skylar had 10 points, 8 assists, 3 rebounds. Gabby Williams had 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals. A great defensive player. Ezzy had 9 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 blocks. I think you need a little bit more from Ezzy offensively. NECA had 9 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals. Again, I think you just need more. Honestly, you just need more contribution offensively. And that's really just like, I think, where everything starts and stops for the Storm. Like, their defense is amazing. They can stop anybody. But again, it is like, we need those points though. And who's going to be the person to go out there and give us those 20 points we need? And hopefully, they figure that out over the next couple of games. I think there's only like 7 or 6 left. So hopefully they figure that out. But right now definitely is not the time to be still figuring that out. I think they're gonna look decent next season, but this season in particular, it's not giving championship, unfortunately. Love them down though. I've been riding for them all season. It's just after that break, we weren't looking too much different than we did at the beginning of the season. The second matchup we had that day was Liberty versus Mercury. Liberty won 84-70. For the Liberty, Brianna Stewart had 21 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. Showed up like she always does. Courtney Vandersloot had a really great game. She really put it on them, okay? She put it on them. 16 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, and 1 block, and was 5 of 8 from the field. Jonquel gave you 15 points, 7 rebounds, and 2 steals. And Sabrina gave you 13 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds, and 3 steals. Pretty decent showing. For the Mercury, it's just a damn shame. Nate, I talked to you about this last week. The 9 points in the first quarter, it's not going to do it. It's not going to do it. The Mercury had 9 points in the first quarter. They were tied at halftime, though. So I can't really be like too upset because the Liberty always do get off to a really great start in the first quarter. But 9 points in the first quarter, we need to work on that. It's becoming a pattern. It's becoming a pattern, Nate. They had 22 turnovers this game. The Liberty defense is good, so I'm going to let that slide, but 22 turnovers is crazy. We have to admit that. We have to look ourselves in the mirror and be like, "Damn, 22 is a big number." And for it to be 22 turnovers, that's insane. Anyways, Brittany Griner had 22 points, 6 rebounds, and 2 blocks. That's crazy. Natasha Cloud had 18 points, 6 rebounds, and 7 assists. And Kalia Copper had 14 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 steals. Again, I say, you need Kalia Copper to be the best player on the team. And I'm going to let that sit. I'm going to let that simmer. On Tuesday, we had one game, Aces versus Wings, and the Wings beat the Aces 93-90. Really tough loss for the Aces. Really tough. Third quarter was 69-61. Then Dallas went and put that good on them, okay? And put up 32 points in the fourth quarter. This is what I'm talking about. Like, they weren't down. They were only down 8 points. But it's still like the fact that any team is letting Dallas go and put 32 or 40 points on them in the fourth quarter. That's problematic. But again, all season, Becky has been saying the defense. It's the defense. And the defense allowing 32 points in the fourth quarter, it's not going to do it. The Aces got cooked on the boards. They had 26 rebounds to the Wings 40. So it's the defense and it's the rebounding. All I'm going to say is Angel Reese would never allow that. Okay? She would never allow that. Anyways, for the Aces, Asia went out there and she was not the reason they lost this game. I'll tell you that. She had 42 points. Yes, you heard that right. 42 points, 6 rebounds, 2 steals, 3 blocks, was 16 of 22 from the field. At some point, you do have to ask yourself, who's going to help that lady? She can't do it by herself. People are expecting her to do it by herself, but she can't do it by herself. Okay? Somebody has to pitch in. Somebody's got to pitch in. And on top of that, I hope somebody's paying for Asia Wilson's chiropractor bill. Because I'm sure her back hurts from carrying. I'm sure of it. 42 points is crazy. It's not crazy because she's the MVP and the MVP is going to go out there and do MVP things. But somebody needs to help that lady. Help that lady. Jackie had 17 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists. Happy to see that, Jackie. Chelsea Gray gave you 15 points and 5 rebounds. And that's it. Those are the only people who tried and even attempted to help Asia. But can somebody give me 20, though? Can somebody help and give Asia 20, though? I need more. I need more from the Aces. For the Wings, Satu gave you 28 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, was 10 of 14 from the field, mind you, 4 of 6 from 3. Natasha Howard, 24 points, 6 rebounds, 3 blocks. Arike gave you 20 points, 6 assists, and 5 rebounds. How are you letting 3 people put 20 on you? Y'all are the defending champs. Y'all letting somebody put 20 on you each? And an honorable mention to Tierra McCowan for the 17 rebounds. Really? Really, Aces? Really? I hope they had a come to Jesus moment in these coming weeks. On Wednesday, we had 5 games. Luckily, that Thursday, there were none. So this is the last day for the week or whatever. And the first matchup was Sun versus Fever. I admittedly didn't watch this game. It was messy, though. And I know that because of the WNBA discourse that ensued after the game. And I'm going to use some of this time to say this. I'm going to still tell you the stats and stuff, but I'm going to say this. The Fever beat the Sun 84-80, but the discourse that happened on Twitter afterwards, very disgusting, honestly. I think that sports are a lot more emotional than we're willing to admit. You know, like after you have a rough day or a stressful day, you know, you turn on the TV, it's really easy to just turn it on and be critical of everything and, you know, put blame on certain players and on certain people for the loss of games and everything. And, you know, that's fair to do as a watcher, but there's definitely a line and a boundary that needs to be adhered to. And I think that people are really like taking a lot of these games way too seriously. And I think that, and I hope that, again, like I want this to be like a healthy space to have basketball discussions. And at the same time, I think it's very important for me to use this space to acknowledge and talk about like the problems that I am seeing on Twitter with these unhealthy versions of conversations and discourse that are happening. Like none of these players should be receiving death threats or like racist memes and tweets and all of these things. Like, and I feel like people are so critical of these players, and it's all under the guise that like this is their job, and it comes with the good and the bad of the league growing, and like, oh, maybe the belief that they're not going to see my tweet, they're not going to see what I said about them. These players are on the internet, and these players are humans, and they deserve respect. And some of the things that I'm seeing, like, I don't know why we're saying these things to people that we don't know, one. And two, again, like, this is just coming from a place of, like, I think people are taking a lot of this stuff far too seriously than it needs to be taken. And I think it's important that we be respectful and that we be mindful that people have feelings and that these people are humans. And if you wouldn't want to read it about you, and if you wouldn't want to have it said about you, if it's not strictly about basketball, it doesn't need to be said. We don't need to be talking about, people's, the things that they face and deal with outside of the basketball, and turning that into something. People shouldn't be receiving death threats. We shouldn't be talking about people's appearances. We shouldn't be talking about a lot of things. And hopefully we get to the point where people stop doing that. I know that that's never going to stop, but definitely please think about the things that you say on the internet before you say them, because players like Diamond DeShields, Dejanay Carrington, and a bunch of other players have been really getting, like, and Angel especially as well, and BG and a bunch of other players have been getting a lot of vitriol online, and it's not deserved, and it's not fair, and it's not right, and it's not respectful. So just be a decent human being and don't say rude things on the internet about people. But that's all I'm going to say there. Anyways, like I said, the Fever won this game 84-80. For the Sun, Dejanay Carrington gave you 19 points, 6 steals, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists. Alyssa Thomas gave you 17 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, and 2 steals. Marina Mabry gave you 16 points, 4 assists, 2 steals, and 1 block. And DeWanna Bonner gave you 13 points and 8 rebounds. For the Fever, Kelsey Mitchell had a really great game. She gave you 23 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 blocks, and was 8 of 14 from the field. Caitlin had 19 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. Lexi Hull had 17 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists. Aaliyah Boston had 10 points, 6 rebounds, 8 assists, 4 steals, and Alyssa Smith had 10 points and 6 rebounds. Again, I didn't watch this game, so I don't really have anything to say, but I guess good win for the Fever. I know that it went down, like, to the end. It went down to crunch time. So again, them being able to close the game out, this is a very different team than what they started with, and congrats to them. Again, I'm excited to see what they look like in the coming years, but also excited to see how they play in the playoffs. The next matchup we had was the Mystics versus Sky. I didn't watch this game either. Just sounds like a boring matchup. Mystics won 74-70. The Mystics, that's crazy that they were both 4-point games. Haha, imagine that. Anyways, the Mystics won 74-70. The Mystics beat them in transition, and they only had 2 players in double figures. Steph Dolson gave you 17 points and 6 rebounds. Ariel Atkins gave you 15 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists. For the Chicago Sky, they beat the Mystics on the boards and in the paint. This appears to have come down to, like, shot attempts. So I think the Mystics attempted 66 shots, and then the Sky attempted 58. So again, this is just coming down to you got to get those shots up, like, and again, rebuild, shooting, all the same things I've been saying. Alternatively, though, they did turn the ball over 21 times, and that's a lot. That's a lot of turnovers. We're going to have to work on that. There was no Kennedy Carter for this game, and then I don't think that she played at all this week. So the next couple of games I talk about in the next episode, she also didn't play in those, and you can feel her presence not there. Michaela gave you 15 points, 2 rebounds, and was 7 of 14 from the field. Camilla gave you 10 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists, and 3 blocks. Diamond DeShields gave you 12 points, and Angel gave you 7 points and 14 rebounds. The next game we had was Liberty versus Sparks. The Sparks beat the Liberty 94-88. This was shocking to me. I did watch this game. The Liberty, again, they're looking very human to me. There was no Jonquel this game, but even still, like, the fact that, like, they got beat like that is crazy. They had 20 turnovers, which is out of character for them. And like I said, if you have 20 plus turnovers, that's a lot of turnovers. Like, that's a lot of turnovers. Very out of character for them, but the Sparks really needed this win, and the Sparks beat them in transition 17-4. Which, again, like, the Liberty usually, like, get up and down. So, like, that was very out of character for them as well. I'm just going to chalk it up to Jonquel being out. But then they ended up losing another game when Jonquel was there. So, I can't. Y'all know I'm not one to make excuses for the Liberty. So, I don't really know what to say here. Brianna Stewart had 32 points, 6 rebounds, and 2 steals. Sabrina had 18 points, 5 rebounds, and 6 assists. And Yara Sabali had 14 points and 10 rebounds. Good double-double. For the Sparks, like I said, they needed this win really bad just for morale at that point. De'Erica Hamby had 21 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, and 3 steals. Rakia Jackson had 19 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 steals, and was 7 of 11 from the field, 4 of 6 from 3. Okay, our efficient queen, Rookie of the Year. Ray Burrell had 18 points, 5 rebounds, shot 7 of 8 from the field, and 3 of 3 from 3. Y'all are going to have to respect Ray and Rakia. I want to see them back on this team next season, putting in work and proving the haters wrong. Odyssey Sims had 14 points, 7 assists, and 3 steals. The next matchup we had was Lynx versus Mercury. This game was on at the same time as like the Liberty game and the Storm game, and I didn't really pay attention to it. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you, but it was on though. For the Lynx, Kayla had 19 points, 5 rebounds. Who won this game? I don't really remember who won this game. I'm gonna be honest with you. Anyways, the next matchup was Lynx versus Mercury. I think the Lynx, did they lose this game? I really don't remember. Regardless, this game was on at the same time as the Liberty game and the Storm game, and it was on, but I was not paying attention to it at all. Kayla McBride gave you 19 points and 5 rebounds. Courtney Williams gave you 16 points and 5 assists. Nafisa Collier had like an off game. I think this was just an abnormal performance, honestly. She had 12 points, 8 rebounds, and 5 assists. But I think that, like, Nafisa Collier's been having a really great season. So, like, to see her have a game where, like, she only had, like, 12 points and 8 rebounds, I think that shows you, like, how great Asia Wilson is and, like, how big her having the season that she's having right now is. But Maisha Hines-Allen, you know, she had some good minutes, put up a good stat line with 11 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 steals. For the Mercury, Sophie Cunningham had 16 points and 6 rebounds. I think this game got a little chirpy. If I recall correctly, Sophie got a tech, and then I think Nafisa got a tech this game as well. Diana Taurasi had 16 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals. Kalia Copper had 13 points, 4 rebounds, and Natasha Cloud had 12 points and 8 assists. Brittany Griner had 10 points, 7 rebounds. Again, I don't really know who won this game. I really don't. I'm trying to think. Did the Lynx win? I know they were losing at the beginning of the game. I don't really remember. I don't know. Google it. Anyways, lastly, the last game. Thank God. Because, y'all, I'm not going to lie. I was getting sleepy. The last game this day was Dream versus Storm. This was a really tight game. I actually was locked into this one. I watched this one on live, but I'm going to be honest with you. I don't really remember what happened. Like, I know I watched the game. There's footage of me watching the game, but I actually don't really remember that. Anyways, for the Dream, Alicia Gray had 22 points and 5 rebounds. Tina Charles had 19 points, 17 rebounds, 10 assists. Okay, triple-double per. 4 steals. Jordan Canada had 12 points, 6 assists, and 5 rebounds. Ryan Howard had 12 points and 4 assists. Decent game from them, honestly. I don't remember what the score of this game was, but it definitely went to, like, the final, like, closing minutes. For the Storm, Joel Lloyd had 28 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, and 3 steals. This was a really great game for her. NECA had 18 points, 6 rebounds, and Skylar Diggins had 16 points, 5 rebounds, and 9 assists. Thank goodness that's over. Again, I do want to thank you guys for watching this episode or listening to it, whatever you did. I don't think there's gonna be a poll question just because I'm about to post that other one. But I do apologize for this episode being late. Again, I'm gonna be posting again like in the next like 2 to 3 days. I just wanted to make sure that I did this one for me and my mental. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If not, try again next episode. All right. Again, I appreciate you guys for listening and watching, and I'll see you guys in like 3 days. Bye.